Hey YouTube, James from the Wyvern Watch here, and welcome to another deck profile. This is the one that sort of won the latest poll, and everyone seems to think that out of the three that I've got remaining, which is Subterror, World Chalice and Valkyrie, those are three that I've got left that I haven't yet profiled on this channel. Subterror seemed to be the one that people wanted first, so here we are. Subterror is a deck that I've had built for quite some time now. Lots of different sort of monster types in this deck. Primarily a sort of earth attribute deck. I'm pretty sure actually they're all earth attributes. So it's one of three decks I think that are pretty much all earth. Other two being X-Sabers and War Rock, of course. Not that that's got anything to do with why I built it, but Subterror Nemesis Archer is certainly one that sort of attracted my attention to start with in terms of the artwork. Really stunning looking thing, but of course we go from the Nemesis creatures or characters to the what do you call them? Behemoths very quickly. So we've got both in this deck. This is a pure Subterror deck. There's lots of other builds out there just using the Guru as an engine, but this is not one of those decks. This is a pure Subterror deck. You're going to find that the extra deck is light on any sort of meta components because they're being used in other decks. So the extra deck is a bit of just a hodgepodge, and you can pretty much do whatever you want with it. But this whole archetype is based on flip effects, which of course is not everyone's favourite in the Yu-Gi-Oh gaming world, which is why it doesn't see an awful lot of play, because I think it's just deemed too slow, which in some cases it is. However, when you're playing casually, that doesn't really play relevance. So it is really good fun to play, and such a different deck as well to most others that you might have played before. So we'll crack straight on. We're going to start with Subterror Nemesis Archer herself, of which I play two of. So, at the start of the damage step, if this card attacks an opponent's face-down defense position monster and you control another Subterror monster, you can shuffle that opponent's monster into the deck. If this card on the field is destroyed by a card effect and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon one Subterror monster from your deck in face-up or face-down defense position. So it's a really good effect, that, because obviously there's lots of different levels in this deck as well. Coming to think of it, I think a copy of Reasoning would probably be a good... There's maybe too many level 4s, so I'll think about that one. But yeah, so you can special summon any Subterror monster, which of course includes all the behemoths as well. So a really nice way of getting to those. That's two of Archer. The next one came out a little bit later than the rest of the archetypes. So this is Fiendess. I think this came out in Maximum Crisis. Yeah, I think that's right. So a wee while ago now, to be fair. So you know, Maximum Crisis is a long time ago. But during either player's turn, when your opponent activates a card or effect, you can send this card from your hand to the field or field to the graveyard. Then target one Subterror monster you control, negate the activation, then change the targeted monster to face-down defense position. You can target one face-up monster you control, change it to face-down defense position, and if you do, special summon one Subterror monster from your hand in or graveyard in face-up or face-down defense position. So a couple of different effects there, but obviously you can use it as a bit of a hand trap. But obviously if it is on the field, then you can put one of your own monsters in face-down defense position and then special summon another one from hand or graveyard, which is really strong. Another three off, we've gone for Subterror Nemesis Warrior. This is one of the original ones. Line those up all right. But again, fantastic artwork on the Warrior. There we go, that's a bit better focus there. But yes, so during either player's turn, you can send one Subterror monster from your deck to the graveyard, tribute this card, and then at least one other monster, so that the total levels tributed or equal or exceed the level of the Subterror monster in the graveyard. And if you do, special summon that monster in face-up or face-down defense position. And if a Subterror Behemoth monster is flicked face up while this card is in your graveyard, you can special summon this card. So a really good little extend second effect there as well. Always like to dump those off into the graveyard if we can. And then this card we build it a bit more famous is my guess. This has seen more play than the rest of the Subterror cards. I'm not entirely sure as to its purpose, to be honest with you. I'm sure somebody will be able to tell me what deck was it being played with all the time. I can't remember now. You don't see it very much anymore now. But flip effect, so you can add one Subterror card from your deck to your hand, except Subterror Guru. Then you can target one other face-up monster on the field, change that monster, also this card, to face-down defense position. This is a quick effect if you control another Subterror card, and you can only use the effect of Subterror Guru once per turn. So really nice little flip-down effect for obviously this card and another Subterror monster. That's it for the Nemesis monsters. So then we're on to the behemoths. So I've learned that you don't want to play too many of these, but if you're going to play it pure, then you need to at least run most of the names in here. So obviously they've all got devastating flip effects. That's the main point to this. But this is Behemoth Umastrix. So flip, you can target one monster on your opponent controls and banish it, full stop. You can only use the effect of Subterror Behemoth Umastrix once per turn, and when a face-up monster you control is flipped face down, if you control no face-up monsters, you can special summon this card from your hand in defense position. And then once per turn, you can change this card to face-down defense position. So you can quite easily get the whole engine running. You can actually quite easily special summon these monsters all to the field on the same turn, depending on how you set up to do so. Okay, just the one... Jesus, I forget how you pronounce this one, but Phosphoroglacier, something like that. So, flip effect, you can send one card from your deck to the graveyard. You can only use the effect of Phosphoroglacier once per turn. When a face-up monster you control is flipped face down, if you control no face-up monster, you can special summon this card from your hand in defense position. So again, that does the same effect as Umastrix's second effect. I think they all do the same actually. We've also got one Volturic, something like that. So another flip effect, so you can target one set monster your opponent controls, take control of it until the end phase, and then when a face-up monster is flipped face down, if you control no other face-up monsters, you can special summon this card from your hand in defense position. And then it also has the effect where it can flip itself down, face down once per turn. We've also got two Stalagmo. Just about make me do that. So you can, the flip effect is you can discard one Subterror monster, and if you do, draw two cards. And then it's got the same effect that you can obviously special summon it. And last but not least is the big fella itself, which is Ultramathus. Its flip effect is to change all other face-up monsters on the field to face-down defense position. You can only use the effect of Subterror Behemoth Ultramathus once per turn, and then it's got the usual special summon and flip itself face-down feature. So that's it for monsters, guys. We're on to the spells. So we've also playing 3 of the field spell, which is Hidden City. Again, another reason why I picked this one, because the artwork again is just incredible on this card. In fact, there's a few nice spells in the Subterror lineup. So when this card is activated, you can add one Subterror monster from your deck to your hand. Once per turn, you can change one face down defense position Subterror monster you control to face up attack or defense position. And then once per turn, when an opponent's monster declares an attack, you can change one face down defense position Subterror monster you control to face up attack position or face up defense position. Then you can negate the attack. You can only activate one Hidden City per turn. Really nice field spell in fairness, because the flip effects are a different dimension. This is a newer one, so this came out in DABL, I forget what the name is of course, but this is Terrors in the Hidden City. Again, a continuous spell, so your opponent cannot target face down defense position monsters you control with card effects. Monsters you control that were flipped face up while this card was face up on the field gain 1500 attack and defense, and if this card in its owner's spell or trap card zone is destroyed by an opponent's card effect, you can target one monster in your graveyard and special summon it in face down defense position. Absolutely cracking card for the archetype, that, and I'm really happy that they brought that one out. Obviously got the hidden city in the background as well, which is just in keeping with the theme, really nice. And then we've got a few books as well, because obviously it's a flip effect deck, so I just think it's prudent that we've got, first of all, this one, so Book of Moon. Everyone knows what Book of Moon does, but there's 2 Books of Moon. But we've also got for Book of Lunar Eclipse as well, just a couple of each. And then just a couple of one-offs, so, or a fair few one-offs actually. So we've got 1 Monster Reborn, fairly simple stuff there. We've got Subterror Cave Clash, which is all Subterror monsters you control gain 500 attack and defense for each set monster on the field. And then once per turn, when a Subterror monster you control inflicts battle damage to your opponent, you can target 1 Subterror card in your graveyard except Cave Clash and then add it to your hand. I've got 1 Foolish Burial to dump off the warrior. 1 1-for-1 for the Fiendess. 1 Instant Fusion for a couple of targets that are coming up, and 1 Terraforming as well. Obviously for the hidden city. So nice little lineup of singular spells. And just a few traps. So just the 1 Subterror Final Battle. Of 3 of course, so activate 1 of these effects. Also after that, set this card face down instead of sending it to the graveyard, which is really important. It just means you can start keep on using it. But you can change 1 set Subterror monster on the field to face up attack or defense position. Change 1 face up Subterror monster on the field to face down defense position. The attack and defense of 1 Subterror monster on the field become equal to its combined original attack and defense until the end of the turn. And then this turn, activated effects of Subterror cards cannot be negated. So again, really nice little effects there, which obviously quite a versatile card. And it's not once per turn is what I'm seeing. So you know, even if you have got a couple of these on the field, you can be using different effects at the same time. And last but not least is a bit more of a common card. So this is Destructive Daruma Karma Cannon. Change as many monsters on the field as possible to face down defense position. Then if either player controls a face up monster, they must send all face up monsters they control to the graveyard, which is just nice and simple, but I thought it was quite fitting for this particular build anyway. That's it for the main deck, guys. Thank you so far. Like I say, the extra deck, apart from the next card, which we'll cover next, the rest of it is basically whatever you've got around and whatever you feel that might add to the strategy, of course. But I've got 2 Subterror Behemoth Fiendess, which is just 2 flip effect monsters to make, and then gains attack equal to the combined original levels of Subterror monsters used for its link summon times 100. During your main phase, you can send 1 flip monster from your deck to the graveyard, and if you do, send special summon 1 monster from your hand in face down defense position to your zone that this card points to. You can only use the effect of Subterror Behemoth Fiendess once per turn, and then once per turn, if a monster this card points to is flipped face up, add 1 flip monster from your deck to your hand. Again, the attack on this monster can get quite high, depending on which ones you've actually used, of course, because you know, so some of the behemoths, of course, are extremely high level. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So you know, Ultra Mathis is level 12. So if you're adding yeah, so it's original level. So yeah, it's 100 for each. So it can mount up very, very quickly in terms of the attack power. The rest of the, just the 2 more link monsters. So I've got Mrs. Radiant, of course, they're all Earth, and Decode Talker just as a link 3 option. But, you know, like I say, this is a bit of a hodgepodge of random stuff that I haven't used in other decks. So the instant fusion targets, we've got 1 Mud Dragon of the Swamp, 1 Invoke Raijin, and 1 Sea Monster of Theseus. Which of course in turn is also a tuner. So there's a couple of synchro options in here, but if I'm not mistaken, let me just double check just to remind myself. Yeah, sorry, no, I think I've missed on something here, but it's fine, we'll run with it. Like I say, I think I might have taken out a tuner monster from the main deck and left a couple of the synchros in here, so I'm not sure I can actually summon all these, but again, largely irrelevant, because it's just whatever you've got available to you, because these are not, you don't need these to use the Subterror strategy whatsoever. So these are just some options that you can go into and obviously use if you wish. And then, like I say, these are the synchro options. We might still be able to go into Trishula and Vermilion Dragon Mech, to be fair, because of Jin being the, oh no, you got Tuna 5. Yeah, you can't go into Naturia Beast. But the others you can, so change Naturia Beast for something else. But apart from that, guys, it's a nice, cool deck, and good fun to play, and certainly good fun to spring upon your mates when you're around the table at home or whatever, playing casually, because it'll be something that they've probably not seen before or played with, and it'll give them something to think about when they're coming up against it. Appreciate you getting to this stage in the video, guys. Keep the comments coming, really appreciate it. I'm going to be doing World Chalice very shortly, and then of course Valkyrie after that. So, and that'll be it. After that, that'll be all of my decks profiled on this channel, and I'm just going to keep you up to date as I make changes to the deck, of which this will be having a couple, because like I say, I've just realised that you can't summon Naturia Beast. Thanks once again, guys. See you soon for the next one. Cheers.